This is the Brazilian club known as the Immortal, marked by epic matches throughout its history, and which is currently seeking to rebuild itself. This is the saga of one of the greatest teams in the world. This is the story of an immortal team. This is the story of Grêmio.
De novo preparou, ainda a bola com o Renato no fundo. O lance é bom. Olha o pé direito, arriscou direto.
Grêmio's history begins in September 1903 in Porto Alegre, in the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul. The club was founded by a man named Candido and 30 friends from the city's social elite, all of them descendants of Italian, Portuguese, and German immigrants. The team's first president was Carlos Luiz Borer. The club's first match took place on March 6, 1904, against Futebol Club Porto Alegre, ending in a 1-0 victory for Grêmio, which earned them their first title, the Wanderprijs Trophy. Later that same year, the club acquired its first training ground at Baixada do Minho. This stadium was used until 1954 and became known by the nickname Fortim da Baixada, or in English, Stronghold of the Baixada. At the beginning of its history in 1903, Grêmio's uniform featured horizontal stripes in light blue and a brownish, Havana, color, with black shorts and socks. The following year, the club stopped using the Havana color because the fabric was difficult to source. The team then adopted a kit divided between blue and black. It is very likely that this Grêmio uniform was inspired by the German club Hamburg, since some of the team's players were from the city of Hamburg, Germany. Over time, white became firmly established as part of the uniform's colors, giving rise to the nickname the club proudly carries today, the Immortal Tricolor. Grêmio is known for matches against famous Brazilian teams such as Santos, São Paulo, and Flamengo, but some rivalries stand out more than others. One of the most notable is the rivalry between Grêmio and Cruzeiro, because both clubs are considered the most successful in the history of the Copa do Brasil. As a result, their matches are marked by strong rivalry and important moments. Another Brazilian team with a rivalry against Grêmio is Palmeiras. This rivalry was especially intense during the 1990s, when the two clubs frequently faced each other in important matches. In addition, in the Copa Libertadores, the second most prestigious club competition in the world, Grêmio developed a rivalry with the Argentine team Boca Juniors, with both sides having intense clashes throughout the 2000s. There was also a rivalry with River Plate in 2018 and 2019 when they faced each other. However, when it comes to rivalries, Grêmio's biggest derby is against their city rival, Internacional of Porto Alegre. This derby is known for its heated atmosphere and epic matches and is called the Grenal. To this day, the two clubs have faced each other 449 times, Grêmio has won 142, there have been 141 draws, and Internacional has won 166. It is considered one of the most important derbies in the world and one of the most visually striking, with Grêmio in blue, black, and white, and Internacional in red and white. Grêmio is considered one of the biggest clubs in Brazil and is part of the so-called Big 12 of Brazilian football. This status comes from the combination of tradition and titles the club has won, a total of 66 trophies. We can start with the state championships, which are regional leagues played in each Brazilian state. The Campeonato Gaucho, known as the Gaucho, is one of these competitions and is still played today. Grêmio has won it 43 times. In the Copa do Brasil, a knockout tournament played in elimination rounds all the way to the final, Grêmio has 5 titles, making them one of the most successful clubs in the competition. They were also the first ever champions, winning the inaugural edition in 1989. Their second title came in 1994 against Ceará. The third, their first, Tricampeonato, came in 1997 against Flamengo. The fourth title was won in 2001 against Corinthians, and the most recent one came in 2016 against Atlético Mineiro. Grêmio also won the Supercopa do Brasil in 1990, becoming the first champions of that tournament by defeating Vasco da Gama, the Brazilian league champions of 1989. The biggest national competition in Brazil is the Brasileiro Brazilian Championship. Today, it is played in a round-robin format with 20 teams. Each team plays 38 matches, facing every other club twice, once at home and once away. However, Grêmio's league titles came when the competition was still played in a knockout format. Their first Brazilian league title came in 1981 against São Paulo, and their second came in 1996 against Portuguesa, making Grêmio two-time Brazilian champions. Grêmio has also won a Brazilian Série B title. Beyond domestic success, the club has built a strong international legacy. Grêmio has won the Copa Libertadores 3 times. Their first title came in 1983, after defeating one of the biggest clubs in Uruguay and South America, Peñarol. The second Libertadores title was won in 1995 against Atlético Nacional of Colombia. Their most recent triumph came in 2017, when they defeated Argentine side Lanús. In 1996, Grêmio won the Recopa Sudamericana for the first time, a trophy contested between the Copa Libertadores champion and the Copa Sudamericana champion. That title came against Independiente of Argentina. Grêmio won the Recopa again in 2018, defeating Estudiantes of Argentina. Grêmio is also a world champion, having won the Intercontinental Cup in 1983 after defeating Hamburg of Germany. What all these titles have in common is that they were won in knockout-style competitions. Because of this tradition of success in decisive cup matches, Grêmio earned another famous nickname, King of Cups. Unfortunately, the club has gone through 3 difficult moments in its history, when it was relegated to the second division of Brazilian football, known as the Brasileiro Série B. The first time Grêmio was relegated happened in 1991. The second came in 2004. The most recent relegation occurred in 2021. All of these periods were marked by poor management at the presidential level and internal problems within the club, leaving a stain on the history of this great Brazilian and world football club. Currently, Grêmio is rebuilding itself in Serie A with a new coach, the Portuguese Luís Castro, and a renewed squad that is looking to find its best form again and win new championships. This marks a new chapter for a club considered one of the greatest in the world, with one of the most remarkable legacies in football history, a team known as the Immortal and the King of Cups.